Hi, my name is Victoria Cañas and today I'm going to talk about the metamorphosis or the transformation, as many people prefer to name this book. It was written by Franz Kafka, and Kafka was a bourgeois Jewish writer born in Prague in 1883. Undoubtedly, this is an expressionist book where we can highlight the deformation of the reality, as revealed the transformation of a human into a monstrous insect, and all that with the objective of expressing the human nature. However, it is in an objective or real nature. It is the nature of feelings that allows the writer to change the reality. The Metamorphosis is considered a tale, but many people consider it's a short novel which protagonist is a journeyman named Gregor Samsa, and Gregor Samsa looks as he feels. As we know, the life of any worker is very hard. It doesn't matter if the worker is a merchant, an executive, or a farmer. And it's due to we live in a capitalist society. In that order of ideas, the life of Gregor Samsa represents the difference between the life of a productive person and the life of a kept person. That is, before the transformation, Gregor was unhappy about his job, but he had quality of life. That is the life of a productive person. But after the transformation, he was depreciated and forgotten. That is what happens when a person is unproductive. Another point to discuss is that after the transformation, Gregor has to discover himself again. He doesn't know how to walk or move with his new appearance. It's very difficult for him. And also he starts to speak differently, so his family doesn't understand him, in spite of he understands all his family says. It could be compared with a searching of the human life after changes or after a shocking and illuminating experience. A search that everybody experiments when something shocking happens. Because of when we change our perspective of life or our thinking, we have to adapt to our new perspective, and it can be a perspective not everybody thinks or has. It may be a perspective of yourself. According to that, Kafka writes about the pain of the changes, due to we are not accustomed to a new life that needed reflections to appear. So he affirms that it's better to make decisions with calm than making desperate decisions. And it's true because we, the humans, think better with cool heads. For example, when Gregor takes a hasty decision to avoid to lose his job, he got the scorn of his family. Hence he has to live a lonely and shameful life. And it wasn't due to for his family doesn't love him. It was for his inspired misfortune and his family doesn't understand him. In the order of ideas, nobody is unconditional, so it seems. But why? Because when something changes the humans, two things can happen. Either overcoming adversities or to dying. However, in the process to overcoming adversities, humans could find something that moved them away from pain. Like for Gregor was looking out the window. On the other hand, we have the awareness of being inferior when Gregor starts to know he's invisible, that he doesn't matter. And it began when the father announces that the family has a money reserve. Here came a question. Was Gregor important before? Or was he always insignificant and completely ignored the reality? If Gregor had always been a preoccupation for his family, they would have used the little capital the father had to break free Gregor from his boring and enslaving job. Was he more blind before or after the transformation? Finally, humans get used. Gregor got used to his new life, and consequently, he preferred to erase all about his past. But when he realized it could change his last human perspective, and it may be the first step to be a monster forever, he did all that was possible to avoid it. Clearly, it's an attachment, but I want to highlight everybody has attachments. In this specific case, everything starts deteriorating when Gregor starts to see his insignificance in the universe with clarity. And this happens after his family takes the last trace of humanity that he still had. Since that moment he realizes he's a monster for his family, especially for his father. And here is the apple that is a symbol of temptation. But what is the meaning of this symbol in this specific case? In my opinion, the fact that the apple is inserted in his back makes Gregor depressed and sees this moment more strongly than when Gregor stops eating. Everything starts to get from bad to worse. Thus, the meaning of this symbol is sin, evil, and perversion. That, for every human, is a burden that became stronger with the pass of the years. For me, it's the most interesting part in the transformation, due to the use of a common symbol that has a meaning established for many years. A symbol that helps to distinguish the reality between the fiction or the expressionism typical of the book. It's a very important key. It was nice to read this book because it's one of the most important of universal literature. It's the opening for other books about fiction, and for that reason it's recommendable to read this book before reading others, as a beginner reader. And finally, it's easy to understand, so it doesn't matter if you aren't an expert. Since the beginning of the book, the author plays with the ending. When I read the first part, I didn't know if Gregor would die or would be killed or would be exiled. I knew something wrong would happen, but I didn't know what that was. So this book hooks you due to the intrigue. However, the first part is a little boring and slow, because it doesn't have an emotional charge as strong as the emotions at the ending of the book. So I don't have anything else to say, that I hope you enjoyed this book. And thank you for watching my video. Bye bye!